So the NATO leaders have agreed on a massive hike in defence spending after pressure from Trump and have expressed their ironclad commitment to come to each other's aid if they come under attack. The NATO leaders have committed on Wednesday to spending 5% of their annual output on defence by 2035, seen as vital to counter the threat from Russia and to keep the American President Donald Trump engaged in the alliance. Meanwhile, the American President Donald Trump is pushing back on reports of preliminary intelligence findings that the US strikes on Iran have set back their nuclear program only by a few months and have not actually obliterated the Iranian nuclear sites. He said that the intelligence was very inconclusive, but he also continued to insist that the outcome of the bombing was complete obliteration. Now, the US president has slammed CNN and New York Times reports on the operation, stating that the US Air Force did not completely destroy the Iranian nuclear sites.
Discussing really horrible groups of people. The pilots did an unbelievable job like nobody's ever seen. They hit pay dirt. You see where I guess you probably look, they call it the wound. You see where the wound is on the earth, and three of them right next to each other. Perfect. And they should be admired and respected for what they did. And the fake news, in order to try and hit me, the fake news made them look bad, but now they look really good again. So that was the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission, and it was also about the High Commission of Iran, just said it was totally demolished. But we're going to have a news conference in a couple of minutes, and we'll see you, because I don't want to burden the Prime Minister with this. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I love the Netherlands. Are you from the Netherlands?
Yes.
I love the Netherlands.
The Netherlands second?
What did you say?
If America is first, if the Netherlands is then second.
Oh no! Well, I know some people put it first. Have a good time, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to have. I think the summit was fantastic. It was a big success. You had great people here. Everybody showed up. They were all the prime ministers and the presidents and the kings and the queens, right? And I actually had breakfast today with a king and a queen who were beautiful. Beautiful people, central casting, I must say, very nice. We had a great time. We thought the Netherlands was fantastic, and I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you
made big
much.
decisions today at the NATO
Yeah,
summit,
big-
so
big
that's
things
important.
happened.
Yes,
Mr.
absolutely.
President, you said you would clarify your stance on Article 5 just yesterday. Is that something you can explain
I stand
today?
with it. That's why I'm here. If I didn't stand with it, I wouldn't be here.
So you would defend countries even
Well,
if
what
they
did
don't
I
pay
just
up their
say?
fair
Yes,
share?
of course. Why would I be here? Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, press.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, press. Let's go.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so that was, of course, Donald Trump speaking there during his interactions with different leaders at the NATO summit that is currently underway at The Hague. Now, speaking about the ceasefire between the two most powerful armies in West Asia, Trump in fact acknowledged that Iran's ballistic missiles caused a lot of damage in the state of Israel. The American president further claimed that the US mediation had led to tremendous victory for everyone, including Iran.
No, I think it was just a tremendous victory for everybody, including Iran. Look, you know, they've got a country, and they've got oil, and they're very smart people, and they can come back. Israel got hit very hard, especially the last couple of days. Israel was hit really hard. Those ballistic missiles, boy, they took out a lot of buildings.
Should anyone make the mistake of attacking? Allies recognize the severity of the threats we face. And in response, they have come together to agree an ambitious but essential new defense spending commitment. Our decisions today show from the Mediterranean to the Arctic, from the west coast of North America to our eastern flank. All allies are united in understanding that we need to step up to stay safe. And they are acting on it. President Trump has been clear. America is committed to NATO. He affirmed that again today in no uncertain terms. At the same time, he made clear that America expects European allies and Canada to contribute more. And that is exactly what we see them doing. European allies in Canada will do more of the heavy lifting, equalizing their spending and taking greater responsibility for our shared security. Of course, work does not stop here. This is day one. We now shift from agreeing on what we need to rolling up our sleeves and making this new plan a reality. And part of this requires that we rapidly expand our defense industrial capacity on both sides of the Atlantic. We need quality and quantity. We need to innovate and we need to act fast. So we will continue our work to bring down barriers. We will leverage our partnerships with the European Union, with Ukraine and in the Indo-Pacific to foster defense industrial cooperation. And there are major economic benefits with the potential for literally millions of extra jobs across the alliance. The decisions made today will make NATO much stronger. They also make NATO a fairer alliance, with Europe and Canada stepping up and carrying their fair share of the responsibility for our shared security. The resolve of allies is clear. We are in this together, committed to Article 5, and we are determined to stand firm. No one should doubt our capacity or determination should our security be challenged. This is the stronger, fairer and more lethal alliance that NATO leaders have begun to build. Of course, this is also an alliance that stands firmly by our neighbor and partner, Ukraine. My dear friend Volodymyr Zelensky is here in The Hague with us at the NATO summit along with his team. Our resounding message to him and the Ukrainian people is that Ukraine has our continued support, including with over 35 billion euros pledged so far this year, with more to follow. All of this, our aim is to keep Ukraine in the fight today so that it can enjoy a lasting peace in the future. We stand by Ukraine in its pursuit of peace and will continue to support Ukraine on its irreversible path to NATO membership. It has been a momentous meeting today. Leaders have agreed on a trajectory that will ensure we are able to safeguard our freedom and security well into the future. And with that, I'm happy to take your questions.
All right, I will call on people, and please, if you could state the outlet you're from, if I don't know that already. We'll start with Sky News. Yeah. Right here in the front and the center. We need a mic here. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah Haynes from Sky News.
Hi.
Hello. The language that you have used when talking to Donald Trump has been notable because of its flattery. Today you called him Daddy, and you sent a text message to him that was gushing with praise. Is this the way that you feel that you have to act when doing business with the US president, through flattery and praise? Isn't it a bit demeaning, and doesn't it make you look weak?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a question of taste, but I think he's a good friend. And when he is doing stuff which is forcing us to, for example, when it comes to making more investments, I mean, would you ever think that this would be the result of this summit if he would not have been re-elected president? Do you really think that 7 or 8 countries who said, yeah, somewhere in the 2030s we might meet the 2%, we've now all decided in the last 4 or 5 months to get to 2%? So doesn't he deserve some praise? And when it comes to Iran, the fact that he took this decisive action, very targeted, to make sure that Iran would not be able to get its hands on a nuclear capability, I think he deserves all the praise.
All right. Next question. Let's come to the front here. I think it's BBC. Yes. Yes. We'll wait for the mic, please.
Jamal Moussaoui from BBC Persian TV. You said that attack against Iran was illegal and in accordance with the international law. But today, Kaya Kallas said she is not sure that it was legal and in accordance with international law. Is there any kind of disagreement between you in NATO?
No, there's not, but there will be many views always about international law. I think what the US did last weekend is justified. This is preventing Iran, and this is a request NATO has had for a long time, a position NATO has taken for a long time, that Iran should not get its hands on a nuclear deterrence. So I think it was totally justified what the US did. And I think it's also important that the American president is very much now working to get the ceasefire not only today and yesterday, but to have that ongoing over the coming weeks.
All right. I see FT in the halfway back.
She has to hold it. Secretary General Henry Foy, Financial Times.
Aye.
The floor. Donald Trump has said the US won't agree with the 5%. That's for all of us to do, but not him. Is that fair in an alliance that's built on sharing and unity? And secondly, what will you do if he comes back next year and asks for more than 5%? Thank you.
Well, when it comes to the 5%, there are the two elements. One is the 3.5% core defense spending. The US is more or less there. And when it comes to the 1.5% defense-related spending, we can safely assume that the US is doing that. When you look at their enormous capacity when it comes to fighting cybercrime, hybrid threats, when it comes to their infrastructure investments, when it comes to developing the defense industrial base. So I think we can safely assume that the US is more or less at that 5% already.
All right. Next, I think we'll go over to the left side again, about halfway back. Washington Post. We need a mic.
So we have Mark Rutte there, the Secretary General of the NATO Military Alliance, talking about a whole host of different issues. And when he was questioned about his choice of language for the American president, calling him daddy and praising him very effusively, he said that this is behavior that's just justified in his opinion.